Hi, I'm Tony from Happy Science. Happy Science is a religious and spiritual organization founded by Ryuho Okawa, who's teaching the truth, ways of happiness, and the path to wisdom and enlightenment. He's also teaching from a higher spiritual perspective on what is happening in the world today. So we can use these teachings to actually overcome our issues and problems in life and to help society and nations at large. So Ryuho Okawa and Happy Science is revealing to us how God wishes this world to be, His ideals, and how human beings should live in order to be happy in life. Today, I'd like to talk about the coronavirus pandemic, which is one of the biggest issues facing humanity today. So how do we protect ourselves from becoming infected? Or if we become infected, how can we increase our ability to overcome it? So today I'll be sharing spiritual perspectives given to us by Ryuho Okawa that is not actually taught in mainstream media, but I'm sure many of you will find very informative and enlightening. According to research and a spiritual investigation by Ryuho Okawa to find the cause of this coronavirus, it contains a spiritual vibration with destructive intent, which is likely to strengthen the malignancy of the virus. Therefore, because the origins of this virus had negative thoughts of evil and violent intent within it, it becomes highly infectious and can lead to lethal consequences. Much of today's mainstream media reports is very much about, how far this virus has spread or how many people have passed away, and also how to take protective physical measures against it. So a lot of it is generally very negative kind of media reports. And at the time of this video, there is no cure or vaccine. However, Happy Science supports us from a religious and spiritual perspective, basically how to look after ourselves from our whole being, our emotional aspects, mental aspects, spiritual aspects, in order to protect ourselves. From a spiritual perspective, most illnesses don't materialize due to a physical cause. There's always a spiritual reason and mental cause behind it. This applies to health conditions such as cancer, heart attacks, skin diseases, asthma, rheumatism, and other diseases and illnesses. Therefore, illnesses should be reflected on to try to understand the origin of the cause from a spiritual perspective rather than just a physical view that will seek a physical surface level solution. Ryuho Okawa reveals how viral infections can occur from a spiritual perspective, and furthermore explains that the mechanism for how viruses attaches itself and then spreads to others occurs in the same way as the mechanism for spiritual possession by negative influences. He says, how does infection occur? It's basically the same as the principle of spiritual possession. Viruses are very small, but they basically work in line with the principle of possession. So, what is spiritual possession? Basically, every living being has a spiritual body in essence. That includes animals, of course human beings, insects, plants, and other life forms. When they pass away, their spiritual bodies will continue to exist in the non-physical realms, but the spiritual principle of same wavelengths attraction still functions, which means those of the same thoughts will gravitate to one another. I will explain more about this principle later on. Viruses also have spiritual bodies, which can be seen by the spiritual eye if opened. You will be able to see tiny spirit bodies moving collectively. As a group, they can attach themselves to people. It can be viewed as a kind of group possession. Then, as it enters the host, it becomes more malignant and active. If your immune system, your body, and also mental states are relatively weak, your resistance and ability to repel such invasion will be low and infection occurs. So Ryuho Okawa explains that in the case of highly contagious viruses, such as this coronavirus, we need to view it from a spiritual perspective and take into consideration that there are negative spiritual influences involved, such as evil spirits or stray spirits at the core of this virus. So we can view these spirits as negative energies with an active intention to harm and bring suffering to life. Furthermore, such kind of negative spiritual influences have strong attachments and are obsessed with draining the energy from living people. Viruses are simply a body that can be used as a catalyst for their intent. Therefore, it is very important to know this truth from the spiritual perspective and the mechanism of how they work. If you know this in advance, you can begin to make preparations in how to protect yourself and also your family. On a foundational level, if your body is tired or weak, or your mental state is depressed or generally negative, then this means you're more susceptible to becoming spiritually influenced or possessed. So it's important to be aware of your sleeping condition, whether you lack enough sleep or whether you have an unusual sleeping pattern, or maybe it's reversed. You're sleeping during the daytime, or you're awake all night time. So your body's resistance and immune system will be weakened, and so this will affect your mental and spiritual defenses, meaning that you are more likely to become spiritually influenced. In addition, if you harbor negative emotions and thoughts every day, it becomes an energy source for negative influences such as evil spirits to come closer based on the laws of attraction. In the same way, the possibility of becoming infected with a virus increases when negative emotions and thoughts are harbored in the mind. Therefore, it is critical to try to maintain a healthy state of mind each day. So, what kind of negative emotions or thoughts actually attracts negative spiritual influences? Generally, negative emotions such as excessive desires, uncontrollable anger, greed, jealousy, hatred, possessiveness, resentment, and negative thinking mindsets such as irrational worries, extreme cynicism, holding on to excessive inferiority complexes, self-loathing, and harboring depressive thoughts each day can be gateways for such kind of influence. Especially in periods such as our current pandemic issue, it is even more important to have an awareness when your emotions and thinking have become excessively negative, and to make a conscious effort to change your emotions and mindset. Of course, everyone wants to avoid being infected, but those who do become infected want to maintain their hope to overcome it and to return to good health and life again. However, if people choose for themselves to hold on to excessive negative emotions and anxieties in their hearts that breeds fear, then it becomes a catalyst that weakens the immune system and the ability of the body to protect itself. Your body is naturally equipped to fight malignant intruders, but the kind of emotions and thoughts we choose to hold influences whether we can protect our bodies or allow our defenses to weaken and be liable to infection. Ryuho Okawa says, actually, infections have a close connection to fear. Before the viruses come and possess the body and begin to weaken it, whether it's the flu, coronavirus, or another infectious disease, fear spreads first. To watch the next parts of this video of a 4-part series, please subscribe to this channel to be notified. Or, if you are interested in watching the latest lectures by Master Ryuho Okawa about how to strengthen your immunity against the virus and other illnesses, please contact your nearest Happy Science at findus.happy-science.org.
I used the word afraid because actually infections have a close relation to fear. Before the virus comes and possesses the body and begins to weaken it, before it comes, there is a feeling of fear towards the infection, whether it's the flu or the coronavirus or another infectious disease. The fear spreads first.